What's up, everybody? Before we kick it off to the show, we're going to be doing a Strange Brew episode today, a very special Friday the 13th edition. But first, on a serious note, I'd like to thank the individuals who had donated to my friend Alex's GoFundMe account. For those of you that don't know, my good friend for about 10 or 11 years or so was recently diagnosed with brain cancer, and he just bought a house. He's planning his wedding. He's got a lot of things going on and could use a little help. They did reach their goal, but it's always awesome if you can spare a little bit extra. Go to GoFundMe/all4Alex. Otherwise, you can find the link on our Twitter page at Dudes on a Porch. Alex, a great dude. I've known him, like I said, 10 or 11 years. I get pretty emotional talking about it. It's very hard to think about. It's very hard to just even process the fact that somebody you know is battling this, and it's, you know, cancer is not a rare thing, but it just fucking sucks. It really does. Alex, hopefully, maybe we'll get him on the show sometime. It all depends on how he feels. I'm hoping to see him today, and we'll give you updates as much as we can. But for all of you that retweeted, all of you that donated, I really appreciate it. I greatly appreciate it. There's no person more deserving of your help than Alex. He's such a good dude. We got a lot of good stories. We have a lot of good memories, and we're going to keep on doing it. We're going to keep on building memories. We're going to keep on building stories because everything is going to be cool. He's going to get through this. And like I said, if we can get him on the show, we'll talk. We'll kind of, reminisce a little bit because we got some funny stuff to talk about. He's an amazing guy. Once again, hit me up on Twitter at Dudes on a Porch, or go to GoFundMe and search All for Alex. Read the story. It's very emotional, very sad. He's a strong dude. He's going to get through this. And once again, it's incredibly amazing. The kindness of strangers coming together to help someone they don't even know out just because they listen to a podcast. They listen to this podcast and they know that I'm somewhat of a good person, I guess. And hopefully you read it, you're inspired, and you help out. And yeah, once again, I don't know. I'm just repeating myself. It's amazing. It's amazing for the people that did the things that they did to help, even if it's $1. Anything helps them, and it's really cool. And thanks, I really appreciate it. So let's get to the show.
Dudes with Brews on a Porch presents to you another edition of Strange Brews, conspiracies, murder, ghost stories, aliens. They're all coming to get you, my dears.
Dudes with Brews on a Porch. Drew hanging out with you for a Strange Brew edition. Craft beer, casual conversation. Drew rolling solo. Friday the 13th, everybody. It is Friday the 13th morning, and we're going to talk about some Friday the 13th murders and stuff like that. People who were kidnapped, murdered, and things like that. That's what we like to do. But first things first, let's talk about the beer that I'm going to be drinking. I'm going to be drinking alone, sitting on my couch. My wife and son have been gone for going on 3 weeks now. They've been visiting some family up in Alaska. My wife is from Alaska, and it sucks. I miss them very much. I really miss my son. I really miss my wife. I get to hang out with Madison, my daughter, still on the days that I have her. So that's kind of a good way to fill the void. She provides me lots of laughs. We're going on bike rides. We're going on hikes. We're staying busy when I don't have her. I've been working a shit ton. I picked up an extra job during the day, and then I work all night, getting some money, getting that house. That's my goal, everybody. We're going to be drinking Tre Kind, a beer that's been staring at me for a long time in my fridge. It is from Three Heads Brewing in Rochester, New York. It is 10% ABVs, 100% or 100 IBUs. On the can, it says 101 IBUs, so we're going to go with the can. 101 IBUs. It's a Triple IPA. I'm really excited about it. A lot of people mock people who like IPAs, but I got to say, yes, absolutely. IPAs are the pumpkin spice for straight white men, and you know what? That is fine with me because they are delicious. The hazier, the better. This one is pretty thick. It's pretty hazy there, and it's got that just great aroma. Smell it? Can you smell it? Put the mic up to it and give it a little sniff. It's good. It is good. It's really, it is thicker on that. Which is what I like. I like the thicker, hazy IPAs. Those tend to be what I kind of lean towards. So let's give her a sip. Very hoppy. Very hoppy. According to the description, it's a, it goes, remember that childhood feeling? Sitting atop the highest hill, feeling like a superhero, kind of like super listener Chad. He's a superhero. Invincible on your tricycle. We're not saying this beauty will give you superpowers, but we're not saying it. We're not saying this beauty will give you superpowers, but we're not saying it won't. 3 times the hop for 3 times the thrill. Own that hill, son. Yeah, definitely hoppy. Definitely hoppy. It is smooth. It's got a little malty taste to it. It's on the sweeter side too. It's everything that you have. A lot of IPAs tend to have kind of like that pineapple grapefruit taste to it. This, I'd say a little bit more of the grapefruit feels, but it's delicious, and I'm glad I had it. I got this through the Tavor app, which for those of you that don't know, Tavor is like a mail order beer service. You go on there, they list beers that you're not going to find in your area. You can buy them by the bottle, you can buy them by the case pretty much. There are a lot of rare stuff that you can find on there. You build your crate. The crate gets sent to you once a month for a flat rate shipping, so it doesn't matter how big or small your crate is. You're only going to pay, I think it's $15 to ship it. So you really want to stack up as much beer as you can. You buy per bottle, you buy per can. You can buy, sometimes there's a lot of it, sometimes you can only get a little bit of it because it's so limited. And it is a service I kind of tried out. I haven't gone through a lot of the beers yet, but I've had them for a while. They've just been sitting in my fridge. And like I said, this one's got really cool artwork. I love craft beer artwork, and it's really cool. You can check that out on my Instagram. I got to take a sip again. And before we get into the Strange Brew stuff, I want to say, I think I'm going to start releasing new episodes on Fridays. Because a lot of times during the week, I just don't have time. I've been doing like the crash kind of recording. I haven't really been able to get ahead on the recording. It's pretty unfortunate. I'm doing my best. We'll see what happens, but I think Friday is going to be the day that we release episodes because I get a little more time. Don't necessarily have to worry about going to do the landscape stuff right away after work. That I can kind of do this and pull some people in the mornings, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes, folks. But so far this is so good with this beer. I like it. Tre Kind from Three Heads Brewing, Rochester, New York. Give it a shot. Check it out. Try it out if you can, and enjoy it. So let's talk a little bit about some Strange Brew stuff, all right? Are you into it? I'm into it. Friday the 13th, you can be superstitious about it. You can be just fun about it. You can go watch the movies with Jason Voorhees in it, which I got to say, the last one that they made, that remake, was absolute garbage. It was fucking horrible. Don't watch that one. I haven't really watched many of the original ones either. I think the first movie I watched with Jason Voorhees was Freddy vs. Jason. It's an okay movie, right? It's all right. It's a cool concept. You got the Godzilla, you got the Godzilla versus King Kong kind of feel to it. You got 2 iconic serial killers going at it. It's all right. Kelly Rowland's in that movie. She gets her nose flicked off by Freddy Krueger. Weird flick. But anyways, Friday the 13th, you see a black cat crossing you, you're bad luck. You break a mirror. You got 7 years bad luck. Apparently I've broken a lot of mirrors because, I got a lot of bad luck in my life. But it could be worse luck right now because, once again, the laptop is taking a little bit of a shitter and pausing, so it might be a little whoop, whoop, whoop going on. So speaking of the movie, let's talk about it a little bit. There's a chilling massacre that happened on Friday the 13th, and it's happened at Camp Crystal Lake. There really is a Camp Crystal Lake in Wisconsin. I don't know if you knew that. It's a real place. Crystal Lake, it is there. People don't necessarily pop out of it and kill you, which is probably ideal for those of you that are looking to kind of vacation a little bit, send your kids away. You don't want that to happen. So there's a chilling lake massacre of 3 teenage campers. Could this be the real life Friday the 13th? 2 15-year-olds and 18-year-old were slaughtered by a knife wielding maniac in the 1960s of the banks of Lake Bodom in Finland. So one camper who was 18 survived, but the killer was never found and still lurks in Finland, which we don't have to worry about. There was one listener that we had for a while in Finland. I don't know if he still listens, but hopefully he's okay. So of course the flicks have made a shit ton of money. They're not that good. The old ones are probably better. The reboot that they did was just fucking horrendous. So the brutal murder of 3 teens, it happened about 50 years ago. It didn't happen on Friday the 13th, but there are similarities between that and Camp Crystal Lake, which are chilling. So 1960, June 5th. So yeah, anniversary not too long ago. Two 15-year-old girls. I'm not gonna try to say their names because they're Finnish and I can't pronounce it, so I'll do them the service of not butchering their names. It was the early hours of the morning, between 4 and 6. An unknown attacker with a knife brutally murdered both the girls. And there was a person, last name Nils, only survivor, was found unconscious at the scene with a broken jaw and a concussion. A handful of suspects were questioned by police, including a local kiosk keeper by the name of Carl Vladimir Gillstorm. Gillstorm? What a name. Who had frequently expressed irritation about campers. Oh, those gosh darn campers, they don't shut up. I shouldn't joke, but I'm going to. Although there was no evidence, he took his own life by drowning in a lake in 1972. In the lake, in a suicide note, he confessed to the crime. Well, then he was caught. Really? Even though they says no evidence. I mean, he confessed to it. Makes sense. You can probably case closed there. Police later dismissed the claims as his wife said he was asleep in bed at the time. Huh. Well, all right. Another suspect, his name was Hans. Oh my God. And I'm not making this up. His last name was Assman. Assman. Assman? Hans Assman. KGB spy. That is awesome. Let's take a moment right now just to appreciate that name. Hans Assman, KGB spy. I can't make this shit up, folks. It's amazing. He had recently moved to the area from Germany and was rumored to have turned up at a hospital covered in red stains after the killings. Police, however, believed he was in Germany at the time. All right. So they were unable to find the murder weapons, therefore, and found several baffling items missing from the tent, including keys to the tent's motorbikes, which are still at the scene. They're still there. One of the people was stripped from waist down. Ugh. There's no evidence of sexual assault, but her shoes were also found about 500 meters away, which I don't know what that is in American land. In this bizarre twist, sole survivor Nils, who claims he remembered nothing from the attack, he was arrested over 40 years later in 2004. He's married with children. He's put on trial, and it was revealed that blood from the hidden shoes matched the 3 victims, but there was none of his own. So prosecutors speculate that he had fought with Seppo, who had broken his jaw, and he had murdered all 3 in a drunken rage. They claimed his own stab wounds could have been self-inflicted after the event, but they'll never really know. The jury acquitted Nils. He had to pay some money for mental suffering. He was paid money for mental suffering caused by the remand. And then the creators of Friday the 13th have previously said the series was not based on a true story, but there's no doubt the unsolved massacre at Lake Bodom bears a chilling similarities. When I have to read out loud, it's not ideal by any means. It's really not. So Friday the 13th, there's another more recent article that had come out. I had it, and of course I'm looking Bush League right now. And I'm going to just babble on while I Google this real quick. Here we go. So Friday the 13th murders in Worcester. So this happened back in the day. A guy named David McGreevy, I think is how it goes. David McGreevy, born in 1951. He's an Englishman, convicted murderer who killed 3 small children in the United Kingdom in 1973. He was also in the news in 2013 when an order imposed in 2009 was lifted based on findings that there was a public interest in his application for parole and that there was no immediate danger to his life. Since 2013, he has been held in a vulnerable prisoners unit where he spent almost 40 years of his life in prison. So Friday the 13th, this did happen on Friday the 13th in April of 1973. Elise Ralph was picked up from work by Clive. His name is Clive, a dude named Clive, who had left his home late with the children all asleep. Clive would usually pick her up late in order to help her with closing the shops, I'm guessing, closing her work, and to have a last pint. Like I'm doing. I have a last pint for the day. When the Ralphs arrived at their home, the police were already there and escorted them to the police station where they were told their children's were murdered. Told of their children's murder. Again, I gotta take a sip. Let's take a break here. Let's enjoy this delicious hoppy beverage. This is only the second time that I've done like the kind of solo thing. Second time again with the Strange Brew. I think I had to stick it to that way. If I'm going to do it by myself, it's going to be a Strange Brew because I need stuff to talk about. I can't just ramble on and on, even though I think I'm okay at it. What do you think? What do you think, random person? We'll give you a pause. Say your response right now. Oh, that's what you think? It's how you feel? Yeah, it is kind of weird talking in a room by yourself. Okay. Oh, I like that question. Let me think about it. We're gonna table that later and use it for a discussion at a later time, later date. Okay. Back to the news here. So police were already there, informed them that their children had been murdered. McGreevy, who was known as a habitual drinker with a violent temper when inebriated, had gone to the Bucks Hill pub earlier that evening with a friend, where he drank between 5 and 7 pints of beer. The two men had played cards and darts, and a small altercation took place, you know? You slam the bottle on the bar, and you hold it up to him. Classic Western shit. That's what went down. IPAs make me burp. So the dude left. Let's see here. Where are we? He drank some pints. Two men had played cards, darts. Small altercation took place. They left the pub. McGreevy had put a cigarette out on his friend's beer. What a dick. Clive had picked McGreevy up and from the pub, brought him home to look after the children while Clive went to get Elise from work. So this guy went to pick up his drunk friend to go watch his kids. Okay. Parenting 101. Sometime between 10:15 and 11:15, a drunk McGreevy became infuriated with the Ralph children, beginning, with the baby who had been crying for her bottle. He killed her. And then he killed the other two, each in a different manner. God, that's fucked up. 8-month-old Samantha died from a fractured skull. 2-year-old Dawn had her throat slit. Oh, my God. And 4-year-old Paul was strangled. I should have read this a little bit more before I started talking about it because, I'm okay with people getting murdered every once in a while. I'm not okay with it, but I'm okay like reading about it. When it comes to kids, it really bothers me. I can't even watch movies where kids die. I don't like it. I don't like it. Even if it's like a small little scene, like in the Fundamentals of Happiness, really good movie. There's a scene where something happens to a kid, and I don't like it. It bothers me. It's because I'm a dad. It really is, and I don't like it. But anyways, he killed him. Oh God, I'm gonna skip this part. He was arrested by police at 3:50 in the morning, walking on a street near the Ralph's home. Upon his arrest, McGreevy reportedly said, "What's this all about?" At first, he denied any responsibility, but several hours later, he said it was me, but it wasn't me, because he was drunk. What a fucking excuse. He told police that he put his hand over Samantha's mouth, and it just kind of escalated from there. It was all in the house, and oh my God, this guy is fucked up. Yeah, you're just getting frustrated by the kids. It happens. People get frustrated by your kids sometimes. Babies cry. You don't know why. You try to give them their bottle. You change their diaper. You try to rock them. You don't know why they're crying. Sometimes they cry because they just fucking cry. It doesn't mean you should go do that stuff. It's horrible. Horrible. I don't like it. On June 28th, 1973, he appeared in court and pleaded guilty to the murders of all the children. The hearing lasted only 8 minutes because he pleaded guilty, and there was no defense plea. No motive or cause of diminished responsibility. It's fucking ridiculous. So due to the brutality of the crimes, McGreevy became known as the Monster of Worcester and was the subject of substantial press coverage at the times of the crime. Former editor of the Sunday Mirror, don't know who that is, was his name is Paul Conahue. Conahue was a reporter at the time and had, in one of those, he covered the story. He had opinions on this and that. He said the name of David McGreevy was not well remembered because of the lack of lengthy court proceedings. I mean, who fucking cares about that? The dude shouldn't be remembered for doing that. The kid should be remembered. The murderer shouldn't be remembered. Even though I'm talking about, I'm kind of highlighting it. I shouldn't be doing that, but whatever. It fucking is what it is. In 2009, in anonymity, an anonymous order was issued by the High Court of Justice during the parole board proceedings. Yeah, because people fucking hate him. The order was resisted by the British press and the Press Association, supported by the Secretary of State of Justice, who argued that setting such a precedent would prevent coverage of the dangerous criminals. The order was lifted on May 21st in 2013 by Lord Justice Pitchford. Man, that's a cool-ass name, or a cool-ass title. Lord Justice of the Courts of Appeal of England and Wales, and Mr. Justice Simon of the High Court of Justice. That'd be great if his first name really is Justice. That'd be pretty wild. He's the High Court of Justice. Based on the importance of the public interest in possible release of dangerous criminal and lack of imminent danger to McGreevy, the lifting of the anonymity. God damn it. People probably think I'm really stupid. I do have a bachelor's degree. And granted, it's in radio, TV, and film, but I don't mind in creative writing. I can write the stuff. I just can't necessarily read it out loud. I understand the words that I'm looking at. I just can't regurgitate them necessarily. So don't you fucking judge me, okay? All right, thank you. I appreciate that. The lifting of the order brought a fresh round of publicity to the 40-year-old case. That's a rough read. That's a rough thing. Let's look up some fun Friday the 13th facts, or little tidbits. Not everything has to be fucked up. Fun. So I'm in Google right now. Fun Friday the 13th activities for kids, popping up right away. I don't know. It's that's a weird thing. I don't necessarily. I would celebrate that. There's a lot of so the weird thing is there's tattoo shops, and it's kind of like in where I'm at, where the local area, they'll do Friday the 13th flash sales where they'll do a small tattoo for you for $13 or something like that, and you can only pick up certain images, but a lot of them have a 13 on them, and I don't know if this is where you're from, but that's a gang thing, so unless you're going to put it on a Jason mask or something, I don't recommend you go to a tattoo shop during a flash sale to get a fucking image with a 13 put on it, unless you're ready to throw down when the time and place comes. Someone looks at your wrist and they're like, oh, you're part of that gang, and they decide to go crazy on you. Not ideal. So some facts about Friday the 13th. Unclear why it's feared. Very little is known about the origins of the day's notoriety. Some historians believe that superstitions surrounding it arose from the 19th century. The first documented mention of the day can be found in a biography of Italian composer, some dude, Rossini is his last name. He died on Friday the 13th. A 1907 book, Friday the 13th, by American businessman Thomas Lawson, may have further perpetuated the superstitions. What are your favorite superstitions? I used to have a friend that was really superstitious and did the salt over the right shoulder thing. Kind of weird, don't you think? I don't really believe in superstitions. Some people just have bad luck. And shit just happens. Bad shit happens to good people. Good shit happens to bad people. That's just the way the world works. I don't believe in karma, or anything like that. That's my opinion. It's a kind of a a negative way to look at life, but that's just the way I feel, and it's kind of a bummer. But superstitions are fun. They can be fun. Don't step on the crack. You break your mother's back. How many moms' backs are broken out there? You know what it's from? It's not from you stepping on the cracks. It's from her carrying your ass for so long, because she carries you 9 months in the womb. 9 months in the womb. I've seen 2 people. I've gotten 2 people pregnant. It happens, and pregnancy looks horrible. That's 9 months of pure torture to bring you punk kids into the world. You need to appreciate your mother a little bit. You need to appreciate women a little bit more, because it's unreal the things that they have to go through. Their bodies go through so much crazy shit, and to give birth, it's trauma. It's traumatic, crazy. And then they got to provide for you. They got to do all the stuff for you. Yeah, you're putting a lot of pressure on them, kids. How about you do a little nicer things and wash the dishes, for crying out loud, for once in your life, before you hop on your fucking iPad, okay? That's not directed towards my kids, by the way. My kids are a little too young for that. Madison's going to start doing the dishes soon, though. She's getting to that age where she can do some chores. Nothing wrong with that. The fear is very real. So the fear, it's a real thing. So real that one scientific name wasn't enough. The fear of Friday the 13th. Oh, God, here we go. If you think I have problems with people's names, here we go. Fear of Friday the 13th is called Frigga Strixophobia. My God, dude, you can't even fucking say it. Nobody can say this word at all. It's very long. It comes from the word Frigg, the Norse goddess of wisdom, for whom Friday is named after, and the Greek words, the rest of it meaning 13. So Friday the 13th. It's very common that people have this fear. So let me take a pause here. If I am offending you because I'm making fun of you for being afraid of a fucking calendar date, happens every once in a while, Friday the 13th, I apologize. You shouldn't be afraid. You should take it as any day that you would normally take. Friday's better than Monday. You know what I think? I think Monday the 13th is probably the worst day, because everybody's got a case of the Mondays each and every week. You only get Friday the 13th every once in a while. Am I right? It's IPA. Super hoppy. Trip hops. Bump, bump. That could be like my rap name. Trip hops. I actually have a rap name. Kind of inappropriate. It's Drizzle. Don't ask me where I got it from. No idea. Haven't at a karaoke bar. I signed my name as Drizzle. So then when they introduced me, so I could go sing fucking R. Kelly, I Believe I Could Fly, they introduced me as Drizzle. And it is very very coincidental that I sing an R. Kelly song in my name being Drizzle, given his court cases and things like that. R. Kelly, weird dude. Has an entire catalog, whole album, about being in a closet while he was with a lady who was cheating on her husband, and I'm pretty sure like a midget gets involved, the police get involved. It's a very long story, and it's all documented via music video. If you have a good hour to dedicate to watching the Trapped in the Closet music videos, you're in for a treat. Me and my friend watched them all one time. It's fucking weird. Concept album, I guess, probably based on a true story. Anyways, back to Friday the 13th. I burped. Friday the 13th can come in threes, so a bit of bad news for all of you who suffer from that phobia. All years have at least one Friday the 13th. The good news is that there cannot be more than 3 Friday the 13ths in a given calendar year. The longest one can go without seeing a Friday the 13th is 14 months. Not too bad, right? So you can go a little over a year without being afraid. What are you afraid of? What is everybody's fear? So some people are afraid of Friday the 13th. I'll tell you my biggest fears right now. I've recently developed a fear of spiders. They're fucking terrifying. I'm not gonna lie. I once had an encounter with a spider, Brazilian wandering spider. I might have talked about this before on the podcast, and I apologize if I'm repeating myself. But I worked at Walmart. We're in the produce department. The guy comes in. He goes, "Drew, check this out." And it's in a case of bananas. It's always in the fucking bananas, folks. You got to watch that shit. And there's a spider, probably the size is bigger than a quarter. It's pretty big, actually. I'd say diameter, we're looking at like an inch to inch and a half of a spider. So that's a pretty big spider for people in Wisconsin. And I was like, holy shit, the fucker had red fangs. And we didn't know what to do. So I called my manager because there's certain laws with like things that are protected. You can't kill a bat if it's flying around at your head. Bats in Wisconsin are on the protected list. You cannot kill them. You can get a huge fine and you can get in a lot of trouble. So we call them up and they're just like, well, yeah, you have to catch it or whatever, this and that. So I take a deli container, a clear deli container. And why was I the one that had to do it? Don't ask me. I had to deal with it though. So I go to the fucking catch it and I accidentally pinched like 3 of its legs in the container. The legs rip off. And I try to, so I have it trapped, like I try to slide it over or whatever, and I'm lifting up the box at the same time. I ended up killing the thing. And then I did some research, and I found out that it was a Brazilian wandering spider. It's like one of the most deadliest spiders in the world. Can give you a painful boner if you're a dude, and nobody wants that. I think I did talk about this. I talked about this with Todd back in the day, when we were doing another Strange Brew episode, where we supposedly did our talk in this haunted basement. So yes, I did talk about this. So a little repeat story for you. Lots of fun. Anyways, but yeah, I've definitely gotten a fear of spiders over the years. I don't like snakes. Snakes are super fucking creepy. Yeah. They're harmless. They're friendly. Oh, snakes are beautiful creatures. No, they're fucking not. They're legless fucking lizards that are looking to kill you. I don't like lizards either. Lizards are creepy as fuck. Iguanas, I should say. Is that a lizard? Form a lizard? They're creepy. And then I also don't like knives. I don't like really sharp knives. I don't like machetes. Yes, I've had a machete pointed at me before, and the people thought it was hilarious. They thought it was a joke, and it wasn't a joke. I probably cried. It's terrifying. People think they can just fucking come at you with a machete. No, it's a weird story. It's a weird story to talk about, but yeah, it did happen. And obviously nothing happened to me. Everything was fine. Terrifying nonetheless. So that's kind of what I'm afraid of. Other than that, like I don't really know. Like there's certain animals I'd be afraid of a bear if I saw a wild bear. I wouldn't be fucking like going to take a picture. I'd be getting the fuck out. I think when you're more in the situation, when you're more in that scenario, that's when the fear really kicks in. I'm afraid of pissing off the wrong person. And they're coming after me, like some of these people. I don't know. What are you afraid of? Let me know in the comment section. You can blame Sunday, apparently, for the month. For a month to have a Friday the 13th, the month must begin on a Sunday. So July must have started on a Sunday. Don't believe us? You can check out this calendar and test it for yourself. Go find a link for it. The patterns repeat in the calendar. So there is a calendar method of madness to the Friday the 13th. Whenever a common year begins on a Thursday, the months of February, March, and November will have a Friday the 13th. If this will happen 11 times in the 21st century, the February, March, November pattern repeats in a 28-year cycle. In the 21st century, the cycle began in 2009. In 2015, 6 years later, Friday the 13th occurred in February, March, and November. It won't happen again for 11 more years until 2026. And we'll have to wait again for another 11 years, and so on and so forth, and all that kind of stuff. Even during leap years, 3 Friday the 13th can occur in a leap year. Did you know that? No, you do now. Fittingly, Alfred Hitchcock was born on the 13th, so he was born on Friday. My son was born on the 13th, not Friday the 13th, but his birthday is on the 13th of a month. And his last, what was it? When he turned 3, I think it was on Friday the 13th. And yeah, he's a little monster, but I love him. He's my little buddy, and I miss him very much. I really miss him. Miss my son. I miss my wife. Gets very lonely. It really does. That's why you gotta stay busy. Hey, somebody just told me I need to check out a Facebook group for beer. I will do that, Sean. Thank you. Some other things. An asteroid will safely fly by the Earth in 2029 on a Friday the 13th. Crazy. April the 13th, 2029 to be exact. There's going to be an asteroid that comes on down. They say that it has no risk of asteroid impacting the Earth to the moon. How do you know that? I don't know. I think we should maybe get Aerosmith to provide us with a theme song, get Bruce Willis, Ben Affleck. Let's fly these fucks into space and let's stop these asteroids in 2029. And who knows where we'll be in 2029? That's in 11 years. 11 years. Got a long ways to go. So yeah, that's Friday the 13th episode for you, Strange Brew. I can only go on for so long. I don't know, man. I'm very overwhelmed with life in a couple of different aspects and good and bad things. And I really want to put a lot of time into this podcast. I really want to focus on this podcast, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. I've been fucking going awry. I need to reach out to more people. I need to get some promos going. I need to do all this stuff. But sometimes I really just don't have time. And it sucks. I was supposed to be playing more video games during this period of my wife being gone. And I have not. I have not at all. And, but, you know, people get bad reps. I made some stupid financial decisions when I was younger in college. A lot of times it was out of desperation, and I'm paying for it now. And I'm working on eliminating that shit. So that's why I'm donating plasma every week, twice a week. I'm doing all this extra work. I'm working overtime at my job. And I got to say, I'm making progress, which is a really good feeling. And hopefully I'll be out of this fucking duplex in no time. It's not a bad duplex. I like it. It's a nice place. But my God, I need my own space. I just need my own space. It's so fucking overwhelming that I can't go out in my backyard without potentially somebody being there looking at me. I hate when I come home and the garage door is open. The garage door needs to stay shut. The back door needs to stay shut. You know what I mean? I don't want some Friday the 13th shit going down here. So that's why I'm going to be leaving soon. Not soon. Not that soon. But yeah, let's talk about this brewski one more time. Tre Kind, it is called. Tre Kind. It is very kind. Tre Kind, which meaning three, because it's the three-hopped IPA or triple IPA, whatever you want to call it. But it's also Tre means very in French. Very kind. So Tre Kind, it could be like it's 3 times the amount of kind, but it's also very kind. All these different ways you can really go about looking at the title. Rochester, New York. This might have been the first New York brew that I've had from Three Heads Brewing. It's delicious. I'm gonna say I love IPAs. I have a lot of IPAs in my fridge, and that's the problem. I don't want to do like just nonstop episodes of IPAs. I discovered a cool new spot. It's really not that new, but it's a place that's been around for like maybe a year or so. We're in the city I live in, and they actually have like hard to find stuff. And I didn't really know that they had this because it's like a landscape place, but they sell beer. A landscape place that sells beer. It's fucking awesome. And I'm going to try to get some stuff there. And we're going to keep on doing this, folks. I got to keep doing this. I want to do some more microbrew episodes. I got to reach out to some people. If you have a podcast, if you have a project, if you have anything that you are looking to promote, you want to talk about it, hit me up on Twitter at Dudes on a Porch. Find me on Instagram, like those pictures, Dudes with Brews on a Porch on Instagram, Dudes with Brews on a Porch, of course, on Facebook. If you like the show, hook me up with a review. Hook me up with a rating on iTunes. Even if you don't like it, give me a 1 star. I don't give a shit. I'll still send you koozies. Screenshot me the koozie, the reviews. I'll send you some koozies. I got some left still. Once again, a lot of stuff in life is going on right now. It's very overwhelming with certain things, with family being sick and worrying about them, with my friend being sick and me very worrying about him a lot too. It's very hard to take in. I'm trying to do this. My family, my wife and son are gone. I hang out with my daughter a lot, which I love very much, but I miss my son, I miss my wife. Trying to see my friend, trying to see my dad, trying to see my mom. It's life gets tough sometimes, folks, but you know, I like doing this even if it's by myself. I can kind of express myself to people that are going to listen to this, and I don't know, man, it's just good to just say the word sometimes. You know what I mean? So help me out, spread the word. There's a lot of cool shows out there. And I want to interact with all of you. I want to do review swaps. I want to do promo swaps. I want to do all this stuff. And one day I'm going to have enough time to do it. I still want to do the Walking Dad podcast. And I actually have I took the Twitter account. I took Walking Dad, at Walking Dad Pod. No followers. I'm not following anybody right now, but I have it because I want to do it. I want to hold on to it. Amanda from Lady Witch Time is going to be on an episode coming up soon. She is going to be coming not this weekend, but next weekend. We're going to be recording that, and it's going to be a good time. So, thanks for listening. I've been running a lot. I've been working on my weight a lot. I've been trying to do whatever I can to maintain some sort of normal life, and one day we'll get there. So, thanks for listening. See y'all next time.
Pew Pew Audio. Goodbye, everyone.